to be able to help the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Well, you've been around celebrities a long time. Tell us some of the celebrities that you've helped in their careers and promoting them.
I think the classic story is Farrah Fawcett,
Okay.
who I discovered in 1968. I was sent about 25 pictures from the University of Texas, where Farrah was, I think, a sophomore, and they said, would you pick the young lady that you feel is the prettiest? And there was something about her, even then, way, way, way back, and I said, here's my choice. And I said, I'd like to be in touch with her parents to suggest coming to Hollywood. It took me 2 years to convince the family, and they checked all my references out.
Really?
But yeah, they really weren't sure that they wanted their daughter to come to Hollywood. And she came, and I introduced her to an agent who was in my building. He got her a contract at Screen Gems. Lee Majors was one of his clients. She met Lee, and the rest is history.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And you've handled Merv Griffin, Perry
Yeah,
Como.
and Omar Sharif, Perry Como, Johnny Mathis, the Supremes, Lindsay Wagner, and Petula Clark, Tom Jones, Linda Carter. I mean, during my years as a publicist, I really had the pleasure of representing great, great people, and Pat Boone and I are still very, very close friends today.
What's it like working with celebrities? Are they as temperamental as they say, or do you, obviously, you have a nice handle on them?
Well, and I appreciate the way you say that. They respect me, and they realize that when I invite them to an event, that I'm not only representing them, but I am representing the charity, and I really, really look out for all their needs, so that when they come to an event, they don't have to worry, what's the hotel like, what are we going to eat, how are we going to be treated. So through the years, I've had that rapport that everybody says, hey, if you're inviting us, David, I'm not even going to ask you about it, and that to me is a great feeling of confidence.
Well, it's amazing because I feel the comfort that you have been, I mean, from the studio system, and that had a discipline of its own. And to bring that now, it's with these celebrities and the new celebrities and the young kids who are celebrities. It's nice to see that.
Yeah.
Discipline, that, like you said, you're from the Midwest, you brought certain values with you. You didn't get into that whole business of typical Hollywood world. But you also handle international. You're not just limited to the United States.
We've put events on in Malaysia. We went to Ecuador twice, and we visited the Galapagos Islands.
Oh, wow.
And if you ever get a chance, Gloria, you've got to go there. It's one of the most amazing experiences of your life. We've done events in Tokyo, Mexico, Canada, England, and so we have the opportunity to take celebrities not only to Omaha, Nebraska, and Milwaukee, Wisconsin, but to some very exciting places. One of the things we try and do is when we go out of town is to provide something for them that they can't do in Los Angeles. And the best example probably was we did an event in Colorado Springs. And while we were there, we had a private tour of the United States Air Force Academy. We had lunch sitting up on the second floor looking out over 4,000 cadets. And then we visited NORAD, obviously before 9/11, and we actually went underground and saw where the entire missile system of the world is controlled. We saw missiles being launched in countries, you know, peaceful countries at the time. And this is something that you could never ever experience, but we did because we were part of an event in their community.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I bet you've seen a lot of historical things.
Yeah, and it's been through these kind of events. You've heard, I'm sure, of Father Flanagan's Boys Town in Omaha, Nebraska, the movie that
was that Spencer Tracy?
Yeah.
Yes.
And we had lunch there.
Oh.
We visited, and we had our celebrities sit at a table with all the kids, and we took a tour of Father Flanagan's Boys Town. You know, and
Amazing.
That wouldn't have happened if we hadn't been on one of these fundraising events.
No, I'll just go and drive you there. Those events are wonderful. But we're going to show a collage of all the celebrities that you've known, and you could run, as we show each one, you could give us a little bit of
That'll
their
be
bio.
fun.
So we'll start with...
well, there's Ann Margaret, and I met her on the set of Bye Bye Birdie, and we were good friends at that time. There's Joe Louis, probably one of the greatest boxing champions of all time.
Was he had a good
And
handshake?
there's Hank Aaron, who was one of the greatest home run hitters until Barry Bonds and Mark McGwire sort of beat his record. There's John McEnroe, the former tennis champion. Nice guy. There's Carl Lewis, a very, very good friend of mine today, and he lives right here in Los Angeles. And anytime I do an event, he's there for me. There's Sugar Ray Leonard. He plays in some of our golf tournaments today, a very nice gentleman. And there's a shot a number of years ago of myself and some of the Olympians. The little one in the middle is Carrie Strug, the Olympic gymnast. There's the great heavyweight boxing champion, Evander Holyfield.
Big hands.
And there are 8 of the 10 Olympic gold medalists from the Winter Games that were held last year. There's Mrs. America and Mrs. World. I like to surround myself with beautiful women like my wife Sandy and you. There's another beautiful woman, Vanna White, a very, very nice lady, really a delightful woman to work with. And there's me with the Harlem Globetrotters last year. They came to one of my events called the Victor Awards. That was a fun shot. And there's Byron Scott, and I do his golf tournament every year here in Los Angeles. And it's for a charity. And there's me in the Shack. And Shaq came to the Victor Awards 3 years ago, and I had the pleasure of picking him up at the airport and taking care of him while he was in Las Vegas.
Wow.
So those are just a few of the 6,000. Yeah.
Those are heavy hitters.
Yeah, those are, and they're nice people. One of the things that I sort of feel good about is that I work with nice people. I have something that I call whiteout. And if someone causes a problem or doesn't conduct themselves in the manner that they should because of being involved in a charity event, I just don't invite them anymore. And maybe once every couple years that happens. But generally speaking, all the stars are great and want to really give something back.
It's amazing. Did you ever think you would ever be involved in this world?
Well, when I was a publicist, I didn't really know that I was going to go into the event business. But one day I was representing Tony Trabert, former tennis champion, and he said, David, I just bought a camp up in Ojai, California, tennis camp, and I need to let people know about it. So I said, well, why don't we do the Tony Trabert Celebrity Tennis Tournament, and you can give money to your favorite charity. And that was the first of 1,000 events.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I also want to show a clip. Now, this is a interesting one with I believe it's the Playmates.
Right.
It is the Playmates.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about this.
Well, these are 18 Playboy Playmates, and I had the pleasure of doing a golf tournament for Playboy, and this was taken at the golf course, and that girl with the bunny ears, that's Julie McCullough, who was Kirk Cameron's girlfriend on Growing Pains. So this is sort of a fun shot that, you know, I'm very proud of because there aren't too many men in the world that have a picture with 18 Playboy Playmates.
No, I don't think so, Mr. Hefner. Oh, beautiful women. That's great.
That
And
was fun.
They play good golf.
Well, what it was...
Like me?
Like you, but we had one on every hole. So when the corporate sponsors came around, they were greeted at every hole by a Playboy Playmate.
Oh, boy. I bet you had a lot of sponsors
That was fun
lining
that
up.
day.
Well, what